and what's so beautiful about this
Yes.
slowed down
Yes.
storytelling is you get to sit in that place because, of course, we all could be and have been.
Adrian, welcome back. We are in the middle of March, March 15th now, and we last week we were in John 18. This week we're in John 18. Last week Jesus was before the high priest. This week he's before Pontius Pilate. What is he? Governor of everything. He's basically, Secretary of State. I don't know. You can give us the synopsis. We are like this is the death sentence. We got like
This is
Good
the death.
Friday happening right here in the middle of March. What's going on in the story, Pontius Pilate? Last week you kind of alluded, you think that he kind of
Right.
saw his hand tied. So maybe just catch us up where we left
Yeah,
off.
yeah. It's so interesting that you said he's sort of like the Secretary of State. The person who popped into my head was Marco Rubio,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like this character who used to be on the right side of things, or at least a different side of things, who's now in a
Yeah.
position and could do something to stop what's happening, but is making a choice
Yep.
to partner with forces that
Corruption.
are so contrary to who he appeared to be before. And I don't
Yeah.
know that that's the case so much with Pontius Pilate, but I do think that he, like, there's a moment where he's getting into this word salad about what is truth and what is, it's like, dude, you know what's happening, right? You know
Yep.
that you're about to sentence someone to death that, I mean, if anyone
Doesn't deserve it.
deserves that, but doesn't
Yeah.
deserve it, certainly hasn't done anything that would, by even your own standard, result in this. And so you do these whole word gymnastics. Um, I think because, like many in the administration, you just don't want to let go of the power. You don't want to let go of what you have. And the quote that I'm using in the bulletin this week is from George Orwell, um, from the book 1984. Um, and it's a very long quote, but I will just say this last part. He says, "One does not establish a dictatorship in order to safeguard a revolution. One makes the revolution in order to establish the dictatorship." And then the conclusion is, "The object of persecution is persecution. The object of torture is torture. The object of power is power. Now you begin to understand me." It is absolutely chilling, and it is just absolutely prophetic. Um, and I think that's kind of where we land with Pilate, but with so many people that are in charge of, making decisions that affect others. And so, yeah, we get to sit in that. We don't sit in that place very often where we say to ourselves, the people we expect to be benevolent, the people we expect to shepherd policies and processes for the good of for the common people. No,
Yeah.
they are taking from the masses to give to the classes, and we see that with the billionaire class, and someone said soon to be trillionaire.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah.
More money than folks could possibly use simply for the sake to be in power, and for some of them to cause cruelty and, yeah, persecution.
I mean, it's that sense of what do you do when you have power and privilege, and
Mhm.
and that's exactly what we see here. Pontius Pilate has it. He's in the seat of the highest power.
Yeah,
But why doesn't he? What's at risk if he were to be like, "What are you all talking about? This guy, he's
yeah,
innocent. Nope,
right,
he gets pardoned."
yeah,
But he gives in to the whims of the religious leaders and how they've rallied the crowd around a particularity that is clearly has an agenda to it. It's
right.
so much overlay. Yeah, the story of the Gospels, there's some sense the authors Jesus has to die to rise again, but I want to be in the moment and say, but did he? Did he really have to? Could this whole story have gone differently? And what if Pontius Pilate had been the one to say, this guy, nah, let's let him keep doing his thing. I want to see where this goes, rather
Right.
than lock him up. Yeah.
But here's the thing. It's like if you face that kind of truth about yourself, and it's interesting that he's asking so many questions about truth
Yeah.
and how often we will look away, not tell ourselves the truth about who we are or what we're feeling or what our passions or our proclivities are. So I think we don't want to face our own truth, and we don't want to let go of power. So we just ignore it. It's like when you're sitting on the subway, right? And that elderly person gets on or that pregnant person gets on. And it's so interesting how everyone just looks like they've fallen asleep, like nobody sees anyone anymore. Because if you see the pregnant lady or the elder, you got to do something about it.
Yep.
So how many of us are walking around like with our eyes closed so that we don't have to face the truth, so we don't have to give up the thing that we don't want to
Mm,
give up? I think that's where, at least that's where I'm going with the text. I think that's where Pilate is.
yeah. And we see Pilate, he's in all four gospels. This isn't
Yep.
his only cameo, but maybe
Yep.
I'm wrong. Does this little philosophical conversation about truth, is that unique to John? I think it might be.
I think it might be, but I'm not 100% sure. Um, yeah, I think the Pilate story that we all remember the most is his wife stepping in. We don't get the wife in this one. Um, but what we do get, you get Pilate saying, "You folks have law. Judge him yourself." And of course, they want to put it off because they don't want to be. I think this is having to do with the ritual defilement. We're not permitted to put anyone to death. Um, you've got to do it. And of course, he kowtows because he doesn't want to open his eyes and see what is right before him. Um, this is the other piece I want to add. Before we get on our high horses, which I do. Um, I certainly think, well, I would not be Pilate. This is, and what's so beautiful about this
Yes.
slowed down
Yes.
storytelling is you get to sit in that place because, of course, we all could be and have been the person who has not relinquished power. Even again, if it's something as simple as not getting up and giving your seat to the elder or the pregnant person on the train, we look away so that we don't have to do the thing we know we're supposed to do. And that's what Pilate does.
It feels like it has an echo of last week, where there was a sense of Peter being human in his denial.
Yeah.
And this is Pilate being human in, drinking the Kool-Aid of power and
Right.
like doing.
Right.
We can either. I would never do that if I was in that situation. Really. I mean, that's I think what this drops us into is almost two parallel stories of, sadly, the human knee-jerk reaction to these moments. And
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And of course, Peter's denial winds up in death. And of course, Pilate's refusal to look winds up in someone's death. And these are like high stakes. And so maybe you wouldn't do something, maybe that would result in someone's death. But I certainly know that we've all done things that result in someone's harm, someone's hurt, someone's erasure or invisibility, right? Every time we walk by a unhoused person, right, or a hungry person asks for something and we're like, oh, I'm too busy, or I don't have money on me, I don't have time to stop and tend to you.
maybe we need, WWPD. It can be, what would Peter do? What would Pilate do? And we need to say, don't do what they did.
Right. But
Because that's our first instinct.
It is our first instinct. And I also want to spin us back to, sometimes we have to respect the protect, right?
Yeah.
Again, Resma Minicum says that there are times when our body shuts us down because we can't do the thing. Like, I don't know that I could have stood in that courtyard and claimed Jesus, knowing that those folks were about to kill him. I don't know. Like, I don't know if Renee Good or Keith Porter or any of the folks who have been killed by the state, if they had known that's what their ending was going to be, would they have done the thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that we can willingly walk into the valley of the shadow of death. It's very hard.
Yeah. Who would choose that route? But then what do you do when you find yourself there?
Yeah.
That's almost, yeah. I love the pace that we're going through this.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is so refreshing to notice details differently when you slow yourself down, to just even allow the things to come into focus rather than rushing by to the next stop on the road trip. So I'm grateful that we get to do this as a community. I think it's a lot
Yes.
of fun for you and I get to do it like this each week. And this is my segue to, if you want to do this with community too, we have open Bible study every Sunday, and we're going through these texts week after week after week.
Mhm.
Exactly this, noticing so many nuances and details that you just overlook. Join us for worship. You'll hear the scripture, you'll hear the sermon. That's another way to do it. But, discipleship, faith formation is more than just, open mouth insert sermon. It's this constant practice of dedication, both in your own formation and then how it comes out into the world around us. So please insert the sermon, but add a lot more to your diet as well.
Yeah.
This Sunday, join us, 9:30 Bible study, 10:30 music begins, 11 o'clock worship. Stick around for virtual coffee hour. We'll have another great Sunday together. Looking forward to seeing you and seeing what comes for this sermon. Talk to you soon, everyone.